Good morning or good afternoon or good evening to everyone. My name is Tarkesh Dura Palicity. I am working as a postdoctoral fellow at Institute of Engineering Mechanics KIT. The presentation of my work is Effective Viscoelastic Properties of Polymer Composites Time Domain Homogenization Approach. The objective in the presented work is to set up the time domain mean field homogenization scheme as proposed by Lelek and Suke 2007 and compare the mean field solution with regular periodic microstructures for particle and short fiber composites. In the presentation, initially I would be giving a short introduction about the continuous and discontinuous fiber reinforced polymer composites. The motivation of the viscoelastic homogenization problem in time domain is described or exemplified with application to thermosets during cure. Incremental variational based homogenization scheme is described to obtain the effective viscoelastic behavior in time domain. Several regular periodic microstructures for particle and short fiber composites is analyzed using finite element simulation and compared with the mean field solution. The presentation is ended with conclusions. Before proceeding with the actual presentation, I would like to shortly introduce to the International Research Training Group. In this consortium, several academic and industrial partners from Germany and Canada are involved. The objective is to develop a robust integrated virtual process chain for compression molding of co-deco FRP structures. Initially, a structure design is conceptualized, then it is dimensionalized and optimized. Prepregs are made by SMC process. Suitable automation in handling technology is used for transfer of the prepreg samples to the molding machine. Here secondary operations is done to obtain the final product. Then these structures are macroscopically tested. Virtual process chain for key stages of the manufacturing process is developed and validated against the macroscopic experimental results. In the consortium, the IRTG is divided into 4 research areas. We have research area design, technology, characterization, and simulation. All the issues related to each stage of the manufacturing process is framed as a doctoral thesis topic. The postdoc lies in the interface of characterization and simulation. Several PIs from the different institutes mentor these projects. In this slide, pictures of all the PIs from several research institutes involved in the consortium is shown. You may please visit to this link for further details on this ongoing project. In this slide, I would like to give you a short introduction to co-deco FRP structures and its manufacturing process is introduced. If you take a closer look at the radar graph, the outer circle represents the advantageous factors and the inner circle represents the disadvantageous factors. In this plot, one can see the scale of the advantage or disadvantage associated with the co-FRP and the deco-FRP materials. If we harness the advantage factors of each subclass of material, we can combine them to have the best features out in the new area in the new class of hybrid fiber reinforced polymer composites, which is called as continuous discontinuous fiber reinforced polymers. Currently, we are focusing on thermoset based co-deco FRP materials. Here you can see the stages of the manufacturing of co-deco FRP parts. Initially, SMC sheet for continuous and discontinuous fiber reinforced thermoset is placed on hot molds. It is pressed against the hot molds. It is allowed to cure and then we have the final part. This is an exemplary demonstrator product. The black patch here is co-FRP and the yellow colored is deco-FRP. In this process chain, I am particularly focusing on the curing simulation of the fiber reinforced thermosets. If you look into typically the microstructure of a co-deco FRP part or just the deco FRP part, this is how it would appear. The color indicates the orientation of the fiber and it is very complex. The overall objective is to model the effective behavior of the composite during the curing process. In slide 6 on the left, you can see the constitutive behavior of the matrix during curing process. It transits from fluid to viscoelastic to elastic solid. A thermo-chemomechanical process takes place in the thermoset. However, the fiber remains elastic during the curing process, which is shown on the right. The challenge is to model the effective behavior of the composite during the curing process. If we kick out the thermal and chemical complexity and primarily look at the viscoelastic behavior of the matrix, the challenge is how should we homogenize when such phases are present in a fiber reinforced composite. Here I am using a mean field homogenization scheme and full field for comparisons. Here I am focusing on particle and short unidirectional fiber reinforced discontinuous fiber reinforced polymer composite. So far there has been two approaches in the mean field homogenization. The first is based on the Laplacian approach and the second one is on the time domain approach. The second approach is more suitable for development of virtual process chain as it avoids numerical Laplacian transforms and inversions, while most of the other approaches in one or the other way needs the support of the full field homogenization. So these are the different approaches in time domain homogenization scheme. Here I am particularly focusing on the incremental variational based homogenization approach as proposed by Lalek and Suke 2007. In slide 8, I am defining the problem and the assumptions lying behind the scheme. Here I am showing a schematic of an RV which is shown with reinforcements. The gradient of the gray color indicates the fluctuation of the local field quantities when it is subjected to a macroscopic strain. Periodic boundary conditions are applied on the RV to solve the local equilibrium equations. The phases of the composite are assumed to model with generalized Maxwell model. We can define the free energy density function psi and phi and the dissipation function phi to find out the stress and evolution of the internal variables. Once we discretize the energy function with time, we can define the incremental energy density function. In this function, gamma indicates the number of phases and alpha indicates the number of Maxwell elements in each phase. Minimizing this function for particular phase with internal variable would lead to a condensed incremental potential, and then further minimizing with total strain and phase averaging, it would yield to effective condensed incremental potential. From the effective condensed incremental potential, the macroscopic stress can be computed. The question is how to homogenize the incremental potential. Here a variational principle is used to homogenize the problem. To the actual incremental potential, we add and subtract a hypothetical incremental potential which is of same nature with the actual potential. This is the form of the hypothetical potential function used. The nature of the function for a particular phase is same but with the following changes. The internal variable defined at past time is replaced with effective internal variable. The actual viscosity of the problem is replaced by hypothetical viscosity. And then we have the missing potential. It is assumed that there is a linear relation between the actual viscosity and the hypothetical viscosity. This parameter theta is selected based on second moment of the internal strains for each Maxwell element, and the effective internal variable is selected from the actual internal variable obtained at current and past time. This we will be seeing details in the next slide. Since the derivations are quite very involved in this slide, here I will be just highlighting only the key steps involved. If we know that what is the missing potential going to be, we can determine the exact incremental potential. However, this can be approximated by taking the stationarity of the missing energy density, and we obtain the field of the field equation of the internal variable. This is substituted back over here. After that, the whole approximated incremental potential is optimized with respect to artificial parameters theta and effective internal variable, and then we obtain the solution for both of these variables as shown over here. If you take a closer look to this equation, the upper term has second moments of the internal variables at past time and in denominator at current time. The positive root gives the upper bound of the solution and they don't compare well with the fulfilled solution as reported earlier. Here we choose the negative sign of the root. Once we make a choice of theta, then we select the effective internal variable based on the past time, based on the past and current internal variable. The term is constant but takes into account the fluctuations of the field quantities indirectly. Then we minimize this whole function with internal variable, and here we obtain the local field solution of evolution of internal variable. If we average over the phase, we need the first moment of the total strain. When we dot this function with itself and then average, we need the second moment of the total strain. These quantities must satisfy these conditions. If not, we modify the theta and effective internal variable and determine freshly the first and second moment of the internal variable. This loop runs until the conditions are satisfied, and once we satisfy, we can compute the effective stress, which is given by this equation over here. This scheme is implemented in MATLAB and FSolve is used as Jacobian free root solver. In slide 11, I am showing you the validation of the implemented scheme. Here a long fiber reinforced composite with incompressible phases is subjected to in-plane shear. For such a case, exact HSLB solution exists and it can be clearly seen that the implemented scheme matches well with the analytical solution. Additionally, transformation field analysis results are also shown, which indicates overstiff behavior. In the second example, a spherical composite is subjected to a uniaxial strain rate such that sigma 11 component of the macroscopic stress tensor exists. Full field solution obtained from finite element is plotted for three different microstructures. We have FCC, BCC and simple cubic. Now from the mean field solution, from the HSLB mean field solution obtained matches well with the reported data, thus validating the implemented scheme. Solution obtained with the double inclusion scheme shows a overstiff behavior. Now comparing the finite element solution with the mean field solution, it is observed that the FCC microstructure compares well with the HSLB. In slide 12, I am showing you the effective relaxation behavior of particle reinforced composite. Results are shown for simple cubic, body centered cubic and face centered cubic. The contour plot indicates the relaxation of effective modulus with direction, time, which is obtained using this expression. It is plotted on one plane. The contour indicates the time and the radial axis indicates the modulus and the rotational direction is angle. The outermost color indicates the instantaneous modulus and the innermost contour indicates the relaxed modulus. The top half of the polar plot indicates the results obtained from full field solution. The bottom half indicates from the mean field solution. Here I have used two different homogenization scheme. So the bottom left quarter indicates the double inclusion scheme and the right quarter indicates the Husschen-Strickman lower bound scheme. It can be clearly observed that mean field solution compares well with effective behavior of BCC and FCC microstructure. Though the effective behavior of FCC and BCC are almost the same, their local field statistics are totally different. In this distribution plot, I am showing for FCC and BCC microstructure, and the random data is the deviatoric strain in the matrix. It is clearly seen that there is a skewness in the distribution, while the BCC structure has left skewness and the FCC structure has a right skewness. Here in this slide, I am showing the effective behavior of discontinuous fiber reinforced polymers. Here full field solution for different shapes of short fiber, that is ellipsoid, cylinder with spherical ends, and perfect cylinder shape arranged in a staggered fashion is shown. All of them shows transversely isotropic behavior, as it can be seen from the plotted for 3 different planes. However, in the fiber direction for cylindrical fiber reinforced composite, it is more compared to the mean field solution, and then it decreases as the shape is changing from cylinder to ellipsoid. The mean field solution is comparable with the ellipsoid shaped fibers pretty well. The main important conclusions are: effective behavior of FCC and BCC arrangement of particles yields same behavior with different local field statistics. Staggered arrangement of ellipsoid and FCC arrangement of spheres are comparable with the mean field solution. I would like to acknowledge DFG for the financial support, and also I would like to highlight the book, which is an outcome from the first generation of the IRTG consortium. Thank you for your kind attention. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email at tarkesh.palicity@kit.edu.